need to give much credit for today's sermon. First of all, for preparation for the sermon, to Amy Jill Levine and her book, Short Stories by Jesus. Amy Jill Levine is one of the primary editors of the Jewish Annotated New Testament. The Jewish Annotated New Testament, yes, it's a bunch of Jewish scholars who have very interesting, have scholarly things to say about what early Jews who were reading the New Testament as that was coming out had to say about early Christian scripture. And then she wrote a book called Short Stories by Jesus, in which she does a lot of scholarly work on a lot of the parables that Jesus told. And also, I need to give credit for some of the ideas, or one of the big ideas in this sermon, to my colleague, the Reverend Doug McCusker. First David, can you pronounce? Who is my neighbor? What is it like to give? These are some big ideas. What about when I give grudgingly? Is that still good? Well, the Hindu text we heard this morning talked a little bit about that. There are some rabbinical ideas about that too, like levels of giving. If I give for the wrong reasons, and if I give grudgingly, and if I give expecting something in return, is that really a gift? Well, I suppose it's a type of a gift, I suppose. But who is my neighbor, and what is the best type of giving? You can see that these are ideas that we consider regardless of what our religious tradition is. These are ideas that we grapple with in all faith traditions. And today, why are we talking about giving today? Well, it probably hasn't escaped you. It's probably out of the bag that this is the kickoff of our stewardship campaign. Now, if you're visiting for the first time today, that might be a surprise to you. That's okay. We're going to talk about important ideas anyway. But at this time of year, we like to spend some time talking about the reasons that we get together in community and support our community. Now, if you are visiting for the first time today, or the second or third time, or if you think back to the first time that you visited this congregation or any congregation, perhaps in your adult life, you were probably hoping to be fed. Right? There was something missing in your life. You needed to be fed. And that's not a bad thing, right? We all need to be fed. The girl in our story today, the wise girl, she needed to be fed, did she not? And she also ended up being a teacher. Isn't it funny how that works out sometimes? Sometimes the people who we think are just going to be she's going to eat my food, but she ended up being the teacher. That happens sometimes. And if you need to be fed, you go someplace where they're going to feed you. And maybe you put on a napkin or a bib. When we need to be fed, we put on a napkin. And I hope that you're getting fed here. I hope this is a place that you can get fed. Now, we have a challenge in Unitarian Universalism. If we were Episcopalians, we have a book of worship, and whether you like it or not, everything would come right out of that book of worship, and we follow that plan all the time. And I'm going to tell you something that maybe you know, there are atheists in the Episcopal Church. But they're following that book of worship, so that's what you get, right? Whatever's in that book of worship. So you might not like a hymn, or you might not like this prayer, or you might not like, but everybody follows that book of worship. But in Unitarian Universalism, we have a very broad theological umbrella, right? We have strong atheists. We have Buddhists, we have Taoists, we have mystics, we have Wiccans, we have Christians, we have Trinitarian Christians. Did you know that? We have Trinitarian Christians. We have Jews, we have everything. If you can think it, we might have it. Right? And we're trying to feed all those people, and I haven't even gotten to worship styles yet, right? Because like you can go to a Presbyterian church and they'll have the contemporary service and the traditional service and maybe the quiet contemplative service later on in the evening, right? And that's just one theology. So, you know, we have all these different theologies and we have all different ways in which we like to worship, and we're feeding it in one place. So I hope that you're finding what you need here. You're probably not finding everything during the whole service, because if the whole service 100% of the time is speaking directly to you, then guaranteed none of it is speaking to somebody else, right? So we have to reach all these different people. So I hope at least something is speaking to you some of the time. I hope you're finding a way to get fed here. But who's doing the feeding? If we're only coming to get fed, who does the serving? Now, I have to tell you, many of you have commented on my stoles, which I'm hiding conveniently under this napkin. I'm wearing a stole today. And the origin of the stole has a lot of places that it draws from, which we wear it. One of the things that it represents is the yoke of service. And that comes down from Hebrew scripture and the prophets, and Jeremiah wore a yoke. You can read about it. It's in the prophets, in the Bible. I'll show you where it is if you want, and you want to read. But it's the yoke of service. But it also ties to a place in the New Testament where after supper, Jesus takes off his napkin, he ties a towel around his waist to wash the disciples' feet. He is serving. This is a mark of service. It's quite beautiful. This one was made for me by a congregation when I left them, and they all signed it. Isn't it pretty? If you're close, you can see. Later, you can come up and see. But it is a mark of service. In effect, it is an apron. And there comes a point when we're in church community that we might need to take off that napkin and put on an apron. Because the thing about a church is, the thing about any religious community is that we choose to be here in community together. We are making this community. And we must all serve in one way or another. At some point, must all put on an apron. Now, when you're serving, you still get fed. There are napkin qualities to an apron. It'll still keep you clean. If you're cooking the food, you taste it with a clean spoon every time. You don't put the same thing in. You get fed. But when you're serving, you make sure that everyone else gets fed. And how do we do that here? Well, we've set up our mission, right? We know what our mission is. We want to serve our mission. We want to awaken the spirit. We want to connect in kindness. We want to help heal the world. Do we want to awaken the spirit? Say with me, awaken the spirit.
Awaken the spirit.
Now say that again, awaken the spirit.
Awaken the spirit.
We want to connect in kindness.
Connect in kindness.
We want to help heal the world.
Help heal the world.
How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do it by supporting this congregation to make sure that when we serve this congregation has what it needs to do all those things. So sometimes it's really exciting things, like putting money in to buy a new banner or a new big thing that we can see. Sometimes it's not exciting things, like making sure we have toilet paper and lights. But all of that feeds the mission. Can you imagine if we came here and didn't have toilet paper? It's making sure that we treat our employees fairly. How can we help heal the world and say that we want other people to be a fair employer if we're not a fair employer, right? So it's taking care of our employees so that they'll take care of us. They'll continue to serve us. It's taking care of the building, although you know that what we do with the building, most of what we do in the building doesn't come from our operating fund. Am I right, Jim? Most of what we do with the building doesn't come from the maintenance of the building, the big maintenance. That doesn't come from our operating fund. But you know, day-to-day stuff. It's making sure we shovel snow. There hasn't been a lot of snow to shovel this year, but making sure we shovel snow, right? Making sure the steps are safe. Making sure the building's clean so we can come in and meet here and do all that stuff. Planning, having big visions for the future so that we can continue to do our mission and we can continue to serve. Are you ready to serve? Are you ready to take off your napkin and put on your apron? Are you ready to take off your napkin and put on your apron?
Yep.
Are you ready to take off your napkin and put on your apron?
Yes.
Okay. Well, one good way to do that is to make sure you filled out your pledge card. Because here's the thing about that. Now, this is the thing people say sometimes. Oh, I don't pledge. I just put money in the basket. Well, that's great. That's lovely. But if we don't know how much money we can expect to have in, we can't plan for things. We can't act on our vision. Because we just don't know. We want to be responsible stewards. We're in this together, right? We're in this together. And remember what the Bhagavad Gita told us. It's not about giving so that I can get a specific thing in return. We're giving to serve the mission so that we can do our combined vision together. So we're not giving to get a specific thing in return. We're giving so that we can live out our mission out in the world. So that we can awaken our spirits, so that we can connect in kindness, so that we can help heal the world. Now the good news is, you have already pledged, the kickoff is today, you have already pledged about $104,000, right? Am I right? I'm right. I love that. You are freaking amazing. I love you. That's great. Keep it going. Keep it going. built our whole vision. We can serve our mission. We can do great things. In both of the stories I told today, there was a twist. In the story of the wise girl, the teachers weren't expecting to be taught by the girl who came with a begging bowl. In the first hearers of Jesus' parable of the Good Samaritan, the people of the time were expecting it to be a priest, a Levite, and an Israelite. They weren't expecting it to be a Samaritan. That's the twist. I want you to do something unexpected. What's the twist going to be? What's the twist going to be? I can't tell you how much to pledge. I don't know what each of you pledged individually last year. I don't know what your current financial situation is. But I'm going to ask you to do something really bold. Put down a number that you weren't even thinking of before. This is your community. You're going to serve the mission. What does that mean to you? How bold are you willing to go? Let's put a twist in our story. Are you ready to put a twist in our story? Are you ready to put a twist in our story? Are you ready to put a twist in our story and feed that mission? Let us go forth boldly and serve. I know you